61 Beetle and the 66 split bus. I have some bad news if you were following the supercharger adventure. Basically, the supercharger that I had chosen was this AMR 500. And if you look at what happened, this is a root style blower, and it just delaminated here. I'm not exactly sure why it would have delaminated. I put the, it has the oil in there and everything seemed to be okay, but it's just probably just too cheap of a thing. And then what happened was, it then proceeded to blow. I don't know what this is. Is it Teflon coating or some kind of coating on there? It blew all that crap into my carbs and it started behaving really funky. And I just decided to bail on the overall thing. I was getting close, and then this just malfunctioned, and I don't know why that would have done it other than it just not being a very solid product. So if you buy a centrifugal or centrifugal blower that's more like a fan, those are all like super expensive though, so that's why I had gone with this AMR 500. So yeah, I kind of regret that. Probably dropped a $1,200 or $1,500 on various things to try to supercharge this Beetle, and in the end it failed. So but I took this thing off, and I took off my the carb setup, which had the carb setup. It had the pressure hats, and it had the all the jetting for turbo setup or forced induction. So now this is all just simplified like this, and I also removed the fuel pump that goes up to 20 psi, and I just replaced it with one that basically sticks right around the 3, kind of a weaker pump, just to the motor it's a great motor, not supercharged. So I've been enjoying driving it again. I had to remove those little pieces of Teflon, kind of went into the carbs, and I tried to get as much of that cleaned out as possible, but I'm sure some of it got down into the I don't know if that can actually get down into the intake in the cylinders, but it ran a little funky for a little while, and then kind of blew, adjusted it a bunch of times, and now it seems to be better. So now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of undoing that project. And so one of the first things I have to do now is, I had gotten this spot here, which was just where it heated up from the AMR 500's pulley hitting the inside of the deck lid. So I'm gonna do a little thing where I sand this off. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna sand this off, and I'm gonna try to just hit that with a little spot paint. I have another area here, so I might be able to just kind of mask this off and try and get this, reasonable again. And I'm gonna go from there. So let me try and get the paint fix and see what I can do. All right, get to work on this thing here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm taking off my QR code. I had used a little bit of cement just because the wind would take that thing off. Now I have a couple pieces of sandpaper. I'm just gonna, it looks like I also have a issue here, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and take this down a little bit. All right, just mixed up a little bit of this. Let's see if I can get this just to fill that just a little bit. I didn't have a good one of these little scrape, one of the Bondo things, so I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. But let's see what I can get out of it. So Just gonna have to sand a little extra because I didn't have the right thing. That's okay. Should be okay. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. Let this dry here, sand it down, and then I'm going to put on the with that on. You know, I could do something with that, but let's see. Maybe I'll put a tiny bit on there too, and see if I can take care of that at the same time. One hand with the camera and one hand doing this. Probably not going to turn out very good, but I'm going to try it out. And I'll just sand this down. And one little spot right there. I didn't really sand that off, but we can try it. Why not? All right. You know, I got a bunch of other little dings here, but really I just I had a couple of things that I thought I would try to repair. I'm gonna let that, there's another ding down below. We're gonna put a little bit in right under here. Whether that sticks, we're gonna find out. I have no idea. A little bit more, just a tiny bit. I'm gonna sand it. All right, well, I sand that down and then just see if I can get it to resemble anything like the right shape. So that looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I made this car from a rusty, from kind of a rust bucket, so it's my right to do whatever I want, right? All right, here we go. All right, I got this all taped up. So I have the 3 places where I did it right here. Here, well, that's not very good because I didn't do anything over that, but, and then here, this one probably looks the best. But I mean, this is not perfect. All I want to do is just cover the, I had a couple of big dings there. This one, I should have done something right there because there's a flake that came off when I was sanding it and I just left it. But, so I have the automotive touch-up, which is L282, which is Lotus White. And then I have this, which is my clear coat. So just going to, well, I can guess it's probably already dry enough. I can put another little bit on here. See, this is Ghetto style, really. Just gonna merge that paint, but if you look around, this whole paint job is not perfect. But keeps it from rusting. All right, well, here's what I've got so far. So I have this. You can see little tiny lines here from where the masking tape was. What I'm going to do, so I don't have any kind of clear coat or anything on here. Also, there's a couple little imperfections there. What I'm going to do is wet sand this with I got 1,000 grit sandpaper, but I also have like 3,000 grit sandpaper. So what I'm going to do is first take a little water, get it on there. Oops. Now we're going to get just the finest grit sandpaper I can find here, which I think I've got, let's see, 100, 3,000. All right, so I'm gonna take this. This is just gonna take the edge off of the, I'm gonna take the edge off of right there where you can see I can feel the bumps. You can see the actual, and this is gonna get clear coat over it as well. You see there, this is another edge. I had taped it, but realistically I should have taped this off, then I wouldn't have to do this and risk the paint that's on the sides of this. But as it is, I already got it on there. All right, I'm gonna spray this off a little bit. So I'm going to use this stuff here, automotive touch-up. I'm just going to block that, cover it off, and then you put some of this, and then I will smooth it out. Well, I guess you can always try to smooth this with, again, the 3000 grit sandpaper, and then that'll give it the matte finish that everything else has. I didn't actually sand down the current clear coat that's on everything, so maybe I won't do it. I'll just kind of see how it looks. If I have an obvious border of the clear coat that I've sprayed on here, then I'm gonna try to blend it. All right, let's let this dry for a bit. And one thing that I had a question for anybody out there who's a VW fan is, I don't know how to, this is a different lid than obviously than originally came on this. Well, or potentially it is. It had a different color, so I'm assuming that it was different. This is a black original 61 body, and this deck lid I don't think it was black, so I'm pretty sure it wasn't. And so now when I put it on there, I had to do a bunch of repairing. See how that's lumpy? You can see here, see this gap? That's like 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, coming down here to here where it's like a 1/2 inch maybe. And then here it gets really close. And then on that side it's elevated. If you look at it, you see how this is elevated there? And then over on this side, the gap is pretty good up here. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. This gap I can't complain about. It's still 1/3 of an inch, which is not that bad. What I'm wondering, how can I see, this is low, that's high. This gap is too big, so it's almost like I want to take this whole thing and like tilt it this way. The hinge doesn't seem to allow like for that type of adjustment. Anyway, anybody knows how to do that, just let me know. In a comment or something like that. All right, I'm still gonna just keep letting the back part dry, and then I'll put the clear coat on. All right, so just the last bit here of the clear coat on there. So I'm just going, you can see I've already done some. And that's pretty much it. So I did it twice. You can see to the side, right? You can see a little bit these tape marks. And you know, the rest of this is whatever. But you know, if you're back here, you come in, say like, oh, what's wrong with this deck lid? You know, the color is basically correct. It's orange peeling just a little bit in terms of the but you know, it had a big dent and the paint was chipped off, so I think this actually looks pretty good. So, all right, well, that was my very ghetto and very messy fixing a couple of bad paint problems on the back deck lid. And so, you know, this Beetle is, you know, good to go. All right, talk to you guys soon.